Okay, so what we're looking at now is pattern, sequence, and series, chapter 18 inside the book. What I want you to do is just take a minute and just have a look at these here. The whole idea of pattern, sequence, and series is to be able to decide what pattern comes next, or what's the next pattern going to look like. So I want you to just have a look there and see if you could work out what the next pattern here would be, and here would be. And I'll just give you a second to have a look at that and to make some observations. Okay, so from looking at that, you should be able to come up with different ideas. Obviously here you can see this is grown here by, it was 1, then it was 2, then it was 3, then it was 4. So the next one here you'd expect to be 5 long and 5 high. Okay. What we need to be able to do is look at sequences, right? So a sequence is just is basically just a pattern, right? So in a pattern, so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So each one of these represents a term. So this would be the first term, the second term, the third term, and the fourth term. In this case, the first term would be number-wise, numerically, that would be number 1. It's the first term there. So T1, T2, T3, and T4. Okay, so that just means term 1, term 2, term 3, and term 4. And in this case, term 1 would be equal to 1. Term 2 in this case would be equal to 3. Term 3 would be equal to 5. And term 4 would be equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so T represents the term, the first term, the second term, the third term, the fourth term. So if we were going to look at this one here, we call this T1, we'd call this T2, and we call this T3. And we'd say T1 is equal to 3, T2 is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and T3 is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, similarly down here, we'd say T1 is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. T2, the second term, is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. And here we'd say T3 is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Okay, so all we're trying to grasp here is that we're able to identify the term is the order in which they occur. So term 1, term 2, term 3, term 4. And the what it's equal to. So the first term is equal to 3 in this case, it's equal to 6 in this case, it's equal to 10 in this case. It's just the number of elements in it, I suppose you could say. So we move on there, right? So the first question there that we have is write down the next 4 terms for each of these sequences, right? So I'm going to start off there with the first one, and we'll have a look at that. And then I'll give you a chance to try a few by yourselves, right? So the first one there, so they want the next 4 terms. So we've got 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. Now they want the next 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so in order to be able to find the next couple of terms, what we need to do is we need to first identify the term rule, right? So how do we go from here to here? We added 2. How do we go from here to here? We added 2. How do we go from here to here? We added 2. And how do we go from here to here? We added 2. So in order to get the next term, it's going to be 11 plus 2, which in this case will give us an answer of 13. To go from 13 to the next term, we'll need to do the same as we did previously, which is to add 2. And if we add 2, we'll get an answer of 15. To get the next one, we add 2 and we get 17. And to get the next one, we add 2 and we'll get 19. Okay, part 2. 2, 5, 8, 11, and 14. And we want the next 4. So we need to know the term rule, which in this case is plus 2. or sorry, plus 3 even. We can see that that's constant. So it's plus 3 in each of those cases. So to get the next one, I need to add 3, and 14 plus 3 gives you 17. I now need to get the next one, and I get that by adding 3, which gives me 20. The next one, I add 3 again, and that gives me 23. And the next one, I add 3 again, and that gives me 26. Okay, I'll do the third one, and then I'll give you a chance to try the next couple by yourselves. So 4, 8, 12, 16, and 20, and they want the next 4 terms. So to go from here to here, we added 4. So to go from here to here, we add 4. To go from here to here, we add 4. And to go from here to here, we add 4. So all I'm doing is I'm getting the difference between these. So I could say 8 take away 4 gives me plus 4. 12 take away 8 gives me plus 4. 16 take away 12 gives me plus 4. 20 take away 16 gives me plus 4. So I can see how this sequence is being generated, or how this is increasing each time, right? So what I need to do to find the next term is I need to add 4. So 20 plus 4 will give me 24. 24 plus 4 gives me 28. 28 plus 4 gives me 32. And 32 plus 4 gives me 36. Okay, I'll give you a chance there to try the next 3 by yourself. Okay, so I just fill them in there, so you should be able to see if you're getting them correct there, right? So the last 3 were all negatives. So for question 4, you're subtracting 2 as a term-to-term rule. So if we subtract 2, you got 12, 10, 8, and 6. For the next one, you're subtracting 5. So 35 take away 5 is 30, take away 5 is 25, take away 5 is 20, take away 5 is 15. And obviously the last one there, the term-to-term rule is subtract 4. So if I subtract 4, I get 4 take away 4 is 0. 0 take away 4 is negative 4. Negative 4 take away 4 is negative 8. Negative 8 take away 4 is negative 12. Okay. For part 2, or question 2, you could say, what I want you to do is have a look there and see. So write down the next 3 terms of each of these sequences. So these ones are slightly more challenging because they are to do with decimals or to do with negatives or whatever it may be. So we'll start off with the first one. So 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5. So the next one there, you need to see the term-to-term rule, which is plus 0.5, plus 0.5, plus 0.5. So the next one there is going to be 3, because I'm adding 0.5, 3.5, and obviously 4. Okay. I'll give you a chance there to try the next few, and then we'll move on. Okay, so I'm just going to talk through these. The first one's done. The second one there, you can see it went from minus 10 to minus 8 to minus 6 to minus 4. So each time there I'm adding 2. So negative 4 plus 2 is going to be negative 2. Then if I add 2, I get 0. And then if I add 2, I get 2. So my next 3 terms there should be negative 2, 0, and positive 2. For the next one, I'll just do question 3. Let's write out question 3 there so you can see. So it goes from 2 to 6 to 18 to 54. So you need to be able to see how the term-to-term rule. So how do I turn 2 into 6? I times it by 3. How do I turn 6 into 18? I'm timesing it by 3. How do I turn 18 into 54? 18 multiplied by 3 will give me 54, so I'm multiplying it by 3. So the next couple of terms there, 1, 2, and 3, will be times by 3. 54 times by 3 will give me 162. Times by 3 will give me 486. And the last one, which I times by 3, will give me 1, 4, 5, 8. Is that correct? Yeah, 1, 4, 5, 8. Okay, so you can see there what's happening. Question 4, to turn negative a half into 1, I'm adding 1.5. To turn 1 into 2.5, I'm adding 1.5. And to turn 2.5 into 4, I'm adding 1.5. So the next two terms are going to be add 1.5, add 1.5. So the next one there, and I'll just do that in the same color. So the next one there is going to be, if I add 1.5, I'll get 5.5. If I add 1.5, I'll get 7. And if I add 1.5, I'll get 8.5. Okay. The next one there, negative 40, negative 20, negative 10. I'll actually write that one out. Negative 40, negative 20, negative 10. And then I need to have the next 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so what do I do to turn this into this? If I say subtract 20, or sorry, if I say add 20, that's fine. But if I add 20 here, that would turn into 0. So that's not the rule, right? So you need to be able to see what's the common rule between both of these. So this has to be the same rule for both. So I do the same rule to this as I use to this. So in this case, it's going to be divide by 2. Because negative 40 divided by 2 gives you negative 20. And negative 20 divided by 2 gives you negative 10. So if I divide that by 2, I'll get negative 5. If I divide that by 2, I'll get negative 5 over 2. And if I divide that by 2, I'll get negative 5 over 4. Obviously, you could write them as decimals, where you'd have negative 2.5 and 5 over 4 would be negative 1.25. Okay. For the last one, 6, 3, 0. So I'm subtracting 3, subtracting 3. So the next one will be minus 3, minus 6, minus 9. Okay. Okay, so we'll skip on there to the next one, which is question 3. I get you to try question 3. So start with the number 2 and count forward in steps of 4. So we'll start off with the first one. So start off with the number 2 and count forward in steps of 4. So I'm starting with 2. I'm going to count forward in steps of 4. So 2 plus 4 will give me 6. 6 plus 4 will give me 10. 10 plus 4 will give me 14. And 14 plus 4 will give me 18. Okay, write down the first 4 terms. So they only wanted the first 4 terms. So the first 4 terms would be 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you don't actually need 18. I just went one extra there, right? Okay, for question 2, start with the number 5 and count forward in steps of 3. So start with 5 and count forward in steps of 3. Again, I want the first 4 terms. So I'll fill them in. 5 plus 3 will give me 8. 8 plus 3 will give me 11. And 11 plus 3 will give me 14. And you can see there I have the first 4 terms, and the first 4 terms for this sequence here are now there, right? Okay, part 3. So start with the number 3 and count forward in steps of 5. So I'm going to start with number 3 and I'm going to count forward in steps of 5. So plus 5, plus 5, and plus 5. So 3 plus 5 will give me 8. 8 plus 5 will give me 13. 13 plus 5 will give me 18. I'll do the next one there, and then I'll give you some to try yourselves. So start with the number 30 and count backwards in steps of 4. So 30, and we've got to go backwards in steps of 4. So that means we're going to subtract 4. So 30 take away 4 will leave me with 26. 26 take away 4 will leave me with 22. 22 take away 4 will leave me with 18. The very last one, start with negative 10 and count forward in steps of 3. So I'm going to have to add 3, add 3, and add 3. So negative 10. If I owe the bank €10 and I lodge 3, I'll have negative 7. If I add 3 more, I'll have negative 4. If I add 3 more, I'll have negative 1. Okay. So again, all just a basic introduction to patterns, sequence, and series, right? So I'll get you to try question 6. Okay. And if you wanted, you could pause that there to do question 6. Question 7. And again, question 8. So if you wanted, you could pause that there to do question 7 and 8. And the last one there that I want you to do for homework is question 9, right? So question 9 is this one here. And part 3.